Hello everybody and welcome to back to the Anne of Green Gables anime. Today we're going to start a two-part storyline, which is also a two-chapter storyline in the book as well, so make appropriate. Today's episode is called Anne Loses the Amethyst Brooch. So I'm not going to explain because I think the title is very descriptive, so let's just start.
Alright, let's get in.
3, 2, 1, click. Alright, in the meantime, let me get the book on hand, why not, so I can...
Okay, I've seen this horse so many times now.
Well, that's kind of what happens when you're binging a TV show. You watch the intro many times.
Yes, true.
Everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
Anyway, Pedro, actually, Pedro, nowadays there's a skip intro button.
In streaming, but unfortunately I don't think this is available even in Japan's streaming services. I don't think so.
Yeah, yes, I'm well aware. There was no such thing as a skip intro button in 1979.
Honestly, a website like Crunchyroll will only gain a bit of dignity by streaming these.
And even VHS wasn't all that affordable, I don't think.
I don't know, Tim. I wouldn't mind this being in some kind of streaming channel for convenience. I mean,
that's what I mean. I think they will actually only do better for themselves by actually streaming these.
Oh boy, what have Crunchyroll done this time?
In general, Jova, they're just a terrible service.
Man, what happened to them? They used to be like the Michael Jordan of anime streaming. Nowadays, even Netflix is beating them at their own game, arguably.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, basically, the beginning of this episode is going to be it starts with the last paragraph of chapter 13, and then we go into chapter 14 called Anne's Confession, basically.
Yeah, it's a good job. Well, could you imagine if the last paragraph was just something really dull, like Anne went to bed? The end. Or something like that.
To be fair, we could have potentially an episode of her going to bed and seeing what she dreams.
That'd be the filler episode.
But yeah, because of all that time she spent playing with Diana, she's almost an half an hour late. Yeah.
To be fair, does she have a watch on her?
No, she doesn't.
Watches even exist at
Pocket watch. I think pocket watches were more of a luxury than anything. Most people will get something like, say, the Onion, as we're called in my country.
Kitty.
How nice.
Oh.
It would be such a shame it would be such a shame if something bad were to happen to you, Matthew.
So both Marilla and the cat are not amused.
I mean...
Well, usually if
You
you
know,
can't your lap, you're supposed to stay there and not move for the rest of your life.
You know, I can imagine if Marilla got really angry at Anne and was like, "Anne, you've lost something of mine," and then Anne was like, "Yes, I have, but you've lost something even more, your soul."
No, don't worry, Dwebs. Lucy is a much better writer than that. As you probably realized by this point, Dwebs, Lucy's dialogue has an incredibly 100% commitment to realistic dialogue.
No, don't drink them.
Well, maybe she's really thirsty. There's also another point. There's also another point.
They tend to freak.
That's the thing, Jova. Another thing we also have to remember is that Lucy's not interested in writing characters without them even doing bad, mistakable things. just as a result of the yeah, it is a good point that Marilla didn't give her some kind of pocket watch or something. But at the same time, you can even make an argument that maybe it just slipped her mind, or maybe she's not even realizing, because
potentially.
it's one of those cases where the show has such a commitment to in the book has such a commitment to realistic human flaws. That
my only wondering is how was she supposed to know what time it was? Like, okay, granted, there are some obvious points. Like, if it's getting dark, it obviously means it's too late. But
sure.
Like,
No, I understand your point.
I'm gonna wonder how much watches, portable watches and everything have spoiled us, because people manage to keep track of the time based on stuff like the sun and the stars for centuries.
It also
question, actually.
Hold on, let me just say one thing. It also dials back to that one line from the book, that where Lucy specifically states very clearly that Marilla is flat out ignorant when it comes to dealing with children. So it really is one of those cases where Marilla is just kind of bad at this, and it's not just Anne who has to get better, and Marilla has to genuinely get better at this. But go ahead, Dibs.
Tio and Pedro,
yes.
was this book translated into your languages?
Yes.
Okay, I'm probably confident, because again, the anime arrived here in my country almost like a year after it was broadcasting in Japan. So there had to be something like some popularity of some kind. Either that or the broadcasting of the anime boosted the popularity of the book.
Basically, that's what happened for me. Basically, it was the first thing we did was we did get the book at first, like in the 1960s, I think, but it wasn't that huge a success. It was after the success of this anime in 1991 that sales of the book spiked. And as a result, later Portuguese translations actually included the name of the anime as the official name of the book in my country. Basically, just to give you an idea, Dibs, Anne with an E over here is called Anna with an A to coincide with the name Anna that she has in the Portuguese translation of this show. So basically, this show is the de facto version of the story in my country. It's the one that people know, basically.
Well, of book one, anyway.
Yeah, of book one, obviously, yeah. Because trust me, even though it's an 8-book collection, Jova, each book is self-contained and has a very conclusive final act, basically. It is conclusive enough, even though, of course, there's still more after. So yeah, she has to learn how to sew and all that stuff, because,
that's a nice test to know. Comes in handy.
Well, remember, like, if she's gonna stay here, obviously she has to be a good girl and help Marilla in the house chores, because not saying, of course, that you should work a child to death, but at the same time, she should
helping the others.
She should be raised in a way to feel responsible and be useful. Basically, I guess that's the best way I can put it.
I mean, not just that. Sewing's a practical thing to have. It can help you in a jiffy.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't blink and she doesn't breathe.
You'd never be able to serve on. You'd never be able to serve on Parliament, I swear.
Heck, all the people do there is talk all over each other. She'd be great.
And now we can't visit Diana because it's raining.
Darn.
Well, I've seen Bridge to Terra Bifia. That means if one of them tries to go there, one of them may inexplicably drown.
Mm-hmm. Marilla, however, will not even let her even put a foot outside because she doesn't want her to get a cold.
Is that one of those stories that has to drown on dry land or something?
It's complicated. With
it's very complicated.
I'm actually curious, since I haven't talked about it too. Like, what could you check? What's the Italian name of Anne with an E?
For the book, you mean? Sure.
No. Anne with an E, the Netflix show.
Oh, sure. Actually, allow me.
Because mine is Anna with an A, so.
I can tell you this, that one of these anime is actually very beloved by people from the generation until the 90s. I don't know if modern ones actually know about it.
Well, I can tell you that the Netflix show, even though I don't like it, something good came out of it. It created a whole new generation of fans who weren't even read the book and everything. So good did come out of that show. To be fair, go ahead.
Okay, in my country it's called Call Me Anna.
Okay, so Pedro.
Sure.
So Pedro.
Weird.
So Pedro, answer me this: is Anne with Vinny seen as a diabolical mess by the fan base?
Well, it depends on who you ask, Joe. But some fans of the book are okay with the reimagining aspect of it.
Okay. Let me clarify. Is it basically something like The Last Airbender? Last Airbender is pretty much ubiquitously seen as a disaster. And while yes, we do agree that it does get some people into the franchise, we mostly agree that it was a mistake.
No. For as much as I don't like the show, Jova, no, trust me. It's not a complete incompetent disaster trust me, they're not even in the same ballpark. Don't worry about that. That's not even a fair comparison to NFNE. I will tell you that. It's more so that it's fanficky. The problems with there we go. There's the brooch. Now she knows how beautiful the brooch is. Let me just put it like this, Jova. The problem with NFNE is that halfway through season 1, it starts getting more and more fanficky, and by the time we get to season 2, it's a completely different reimagining of the story that doesn't even try to even do anything from the books.
What about season 3?
Season 3, like I said, Jova, it's on original stuff. We completely abandoned the books by season 2, basically.
Okay. So I guess a good question is the original stuff itself good? Mind you, I do get that as an adaptation that may be a bit of a problem, but is the original stuff good? I'm just trying to cover all
for me, Jova, let me put it this way, Jova. At best, to me, it's generic TV drama. At worst, it's just bad drama TV. I guess that's the best way I can put it.
I think I actually understand.
To me, this is to me, of course. To me, it's... Go ahead.
Judging from what Pedro said, I think a better comparison, Joe, I guess it's the equivalent to the Walking Dead AMC series. Started relatively fine as an adaptation, but then devolved into doing whatever they wanted.
And it's one of those things where, okay, and don't get me wrong, as you guys know by this point, I'm very open-minded when it comes to adaptations. However, I will say that, at the same time, I will agree that sometimes you should not mess with perfection. And it's one of those cases where this book is so brilliant that it really is one of those cases where why even change it? The book is so wonderful.
Again, if it ain't broken, don't fix it.
And...
Okay, to be fair, as long as she just looks at it a bit, there's technically nothing wrong with this. But the title, of course, already tells us what we need to know. So.
Heck, forget the title. I can legit tell by her looks and her movements what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Heck, I should know. I was her age at some point. I know how this is going to go.
It does remind me of, also, for example, the Heidi anime done by Miyazaki. That also includes potential some conflict that goes from behavior of Heidi like this.
Much like, that's one of the best things that makes Takahata the perfect man to adapt this to. But just like Lucy, Takahata is not interested in writing flawless characters. He's not interested in that at all.
I thought something was going to happen. Like she touches it, and then it's like that bit in that South Park game where everything explodes.
All right, it actually looks good on her. To be fair,
it's not cursed, is it?
No.
We're not doing that.
You've been watching way too much anime.
Well, this is an anime. She said
This is an anime.
This is more used to modern anime, Shiroi. Remember, anime like this doesn't really get made on a mainstream level. Not anymore, really. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure there are a couple, but they're nowhere near as common as they were back in these days.
How dare dare you touch my amulets?
It's a brooch. It's different.
Whatever. It's a piece of jewelry. I told you not to touch it, and you touched it. You're grounded.
Well, to be fair, I can see her point. It's not hers. She should learn restraint. You know, like
this makes sense.
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay.
Oh dear.
You know, if they adapted this story for like modern times, they turned Anna into some kind of YouTube prankster or something, and have the jewelry be replaced by like a custard pie on a spring.
I don't even know what you just
Well,
said.
that's not what N with an E does. It stays in the same time period. Although there are some things that show does that don't make sense for the time period, but I'm not going to go into a rant about that.
It's not fair.
Of course it's not.
Oh dear.
Again, the Japanese are masters at romanticizing the mundane, and I absolutely love how it even bothers to show Marilla searching the room. Like, just because it's an incredibly important event.
Huh. Oh, honey. Watch you, this little show about that. Torture has many definitions. There is what happens to the characters on a regular basis in Higurashi, and then they're showing any self-respecting Avatar fan the Last Airbender movie. Both are about equal
Also,
Or
Orange
the-
Clockwork,
or the
the teach of torture is peculiar.
Or the first half of Korra.
Yeah, that too. Especially book 2. Screw book 2.
Jova, Jova, I can't fuck a book.
I did love that fish animation of Marilla, the shaking mouth. Like, again, they make the best they got with the TV budget they have. So yeah, you're grounded, Anne.
Plot twist, they were sitting on it all the time.
It's like when you're searching frantically your glasses and when you realize that you were actually having them on your
them.
yeah,
Well,
you're wearing them all the time.
Well, Dwarves and Tail, that kind of stuff does happen.
Oh no, it's just that it's hilarious.
So she hasn't eaten it.
Are you saying that to justify yourself, perchance?
God, the animation in this show is so good. Like the pain, the sad expression on her face. You know, because she's like, "Oh, what hurts me most is the lie," she says. Like,
Weird, no monologues from Anne herself. That would certainly help the audience decide whether or not she truly was lying.
well, Jova, right now you're supposed to be kind of wondering who's telling the truth, who's right or not. So.
Yeah, I'm with Matthew.
Maybe a bird flew in and took
Vaio.
it.
Not to mention, too, as all of us were children at some point, we all know how it feels like to feel like we've been punished by our parents unfairly.
Mm-hmm.
So
it does remind, even of all the things to do something similar to them. Even The Simpsons actually got that with multiple episodes, including Bart Gets an F.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning.
Anne does not seem like the person to lie.
Yeah, Anne is many things, but a liar, not really.
Like heck, if anything, she's sometimes a little too sincere.
I mean, if it's a, I hope it isn't going to turn out that the mom was just doing this to be a
Nah.
dick or something.
No.
Because
Again,
Nah.
it's just honest trying to understand. Again,
That's all it is.
Simply put, Marilla is not is still having to figure out what this parenting thing
not
is.
not just that, Wibbs. Look at it things from Marilla's perspective. She looked for the brooch everywhere. She can't find it. The last person who had it was Anne. What possible conclusion can she even take at this point?
brother took it.
Also, to add, like, while she's, like she's making the assumption that Anne's a liar to her face, behind her back she's trying to find other reasons what could be wrong because she doesn't want to believe that she did do that.
No, she doesn't. That's the thing, Wibbs. It pains her to think of Anne as a liar. It's just that right now, what else is she supposed to think? She has no evidence leading towards any other possible conclusions.
And right now she has to trust only but her eyes.
Yeah. Not to mention, it also goes bound to that, Dwebs. Like, Marilla is not exactly the experienced, well-known parent who always knows what to do in these situations. So, of course, she's going to commit some mistakes herself as well.
Oh.
I mean, thinking about it, Anne really does want to go on this picnic. Like
it will be self-sabotaging.
Because inexperienced or not, it's not going to look good on the mom's part. If she was telling the truth the whole time, but she's just doing this because, lol.
No, she was
Not
doing
only
this
that,
because...
Like we said, this is not that kind of story.
it
Okay.
is an
Dwebs,
unfortunate
Dwebs.
scenario where it does look like the only potential answer is that Anne took it, and is not admitting it,
Like,
unfortunately.
it sucks, but no other possible answer has been presented.
Exactly. Just like in sometimes it happens.
Well, maybe the brother took it by mistake or something.
No, Matthew wouldn't do that. Like,
The cat took it.
look, don't worry, Dwibs. Like, Marilla's a very sensible person. If she realizes that that Anne took it, she would definitely apologize to Anne for it.
So where the brooch actually has gone to the next time of NZ.
So, all right. So in the next part, everybody, the next episode, everybody, the episode called Anne's Confession. Take that title. Take that fact. Well, Dwibs. What if I told you that the title is not telling you everything?
Also, the preview kind of hinted at what it was getting at with the title.
Oops.
It didn't outright say it, but it's like, okay, I know what you're doing
for
now.
If it helps, if the book chapter is called like that as well, Anne's Confession. So, but
so join us next time for the next episode and spoilers.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, first we have to give thoughts. Good.
Sure. Again, this conflict presents a bit more, entertainment for someone who, might have not been interested in just the slow pace so far. So it's also a nice refreshment of pace. It also presents the conflict in an equal manner. Again, you generally don't know which of the two is, in the right and where the hell these brooches actually.
And even then, Theo, even if we knew for certain that Marilla's in the wrong, who cannot relate to when a parent is being unfair?
Mm-hmm, that too.
Because that happens, and it's an issue that can make for good storytelling if in the hands of a good writer like Takahata.
But yeah, it's again pretty neat stuff. Next,
Jiroi.
That was really good. The conflict is interesting enough, and yeah, there we go.
I'll put it like this, Jiroi. It takes a good writer to make something like something like an epic fantasy adventure to make fun. It takes a far more skilled writer to make the looking of a lost brooch interesting and exciting. Now that takes writing skill, because it's much harder to romanticize the mundane like this. So, all right, Jova.
Yeah, it's good. Like with Ace Attorney, it seems to be doing a good job at romanticizing the mundane, I'll admit. So, kudos.
All right, Dwibs, go ahead.
Well, I'd argue Ace Attorney isn't really mundane, but
Dwibs. When you get down to it, Ace Attorney is essentially just Law and Order. Because when you get down to it, it is legit just court cases.
Well, the investigation sequences, I will argue, do that. Like, the investigation sequences have a lot of moments where the characters are just doing small talk, like especially with Larry. Like, there's a lot of moments with Larry in Ace Attorney where they're just kind of having small talk. Really?
Pretty much.
Now got me about. Well, it depends which Law and Order you mean. UK, US. But anyway, on the subject of this episode. Again, it was all pretty good, and there's a lot of ways it could go. Well, if I didn't know what the spoilers were because of the title.
Like I told you, the title is not telling you everything. That's all I'll say.
I mean, could you imagine if other shows did that? Like imagine if episode 3 of Avatar: Last Airbender did that. Series 1, episode 3, the death of Aang's tribe.
Dweebs,
more
actually,
common than you think.
Not just that, Dweebs. I forgot if you actually I don't know if you actually forgot, but back when we actually commented on it, since I was blind, I did double check the Italian titles of all the series. The one that actually spoils shit is the one of the final episode of Book 2, which literally is called "The Earth Kingdom Loses." Like,
dang Italy.
Thanks, spoilers, guys.
And it's the only one that does that. I don't know, but that's besides the point.
Maybe that was the placeholder one and they forgot to change it. I don't know.
That is arguably the worst episode to spoil, considering how much it hinges on that shock.
All right. For me, again, like I absolutely respect the hell out of a show who is capable at making stuff like this interesting and engaging. That because it takes immense writing skill to do it well, and Lucy and Backstation Takahata make it seem so easy because they're so brilliant at this. Basically, if you want to see more of Takahata's brilliance, everybody watch the Heidi anime, like Teo was saying, which was also part of the World Masterpiece Feeder. Watch his 3000 Leagues in Search of Murder show, which is inspired in one chapter of an Italian novel called Heart. And watch his Studio Ghibli movies, Grave of the Fireflies, Only Yesterday, My Neighbors the Yamadas, and the Tale of Princess Kaguya. They're all just as brilliant as you see here. This guy is amazing. He's my favorite animation director of all time, and it really is. There's a reason why he's regarded as one of the all-time great animation gods. He really is. All right, see you for the next episode, everybody. Ends confession.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah.